Welcome back to Sports Wars College Football Season Preview for 2021. As always, if you want to get free football picks and predictions all year long, you can go to sportspicks.locals.com. Here we're going to talk about the most underrated teams, the top 5 most underrated teams for 2021. The teams whose talent levels suggest they will achieve more than what Vegas and many in the press are predicting and forecasting. Number 1 on that list, the University of Tennessee at Knoxville. There has been much talk over the fact that Tennessee has had to replace its coaching staff, is in a first-year coaching system, lost a lot of players to the transfer portal, the most ever of any college football program in terms of top 100 talent, is under various review for whatever happened under the recruiting of the prior coaches. And so the theory is that that narrative has built up so that people have ignored what the talent level is on this coaching team and what the coaching capabilities are on this team. And most importantly, what the schedule actually looks like. So first, in terms of talent, this Tennessee team, when you look at its talent, still features top 20 level talent in the country. That's fact one. So people are focusing on who left. They're ignoring who came in and who was already there and who is coming in the freshman class, including 3 talented and capable quarterbacks, including top-ranked offensive linemen, including top-ranked running backs out of the junior college ranks, including top-ranked talent at every level of defense, defensive line, linebacker, and defensive back. Then second, you look at the offensive coaching staff handled by Josh Heupel, who has been successful pretty much everywhere he's been in running a simplified offense that overachieves more than almost any other offensive scheme in college football. Well, on the defensive side of the ball, you bring in co-defensive coordinator from Penn State, where they had a good defense every single season he was there, and had actually had success going back to Central Michigan before that. So you have a coach with a long history of success in college football in the defensive ranks, a coach with a long history of success in the offensive ranks, and you have a lot more talent than people are acknowledging and admitting because they're focusing on what was lost rather than what is still present. Last but not least, the schedule aligns very well. Their winnable games are at home. Some of their more difficult games are on the road, but their winnable games, 8 of them, are at home. And in order to overachieve the 6-game win total set in Vegas that many people are popularly betting the under on, they're betting on a losing season in Tennessee. What they're betting on is that Tennessee will lose to Pitt at home, with whom they have a major talent advantage and edge, that they'll lose to South Carolina at home, against whom they have a major talent advantage and edge, that they'll lose against Kentucky on the road, to whom, again, they have a talent edge, that they'll lose to the likes of South Carolina at home, against whom they have a talent edge, that when you dig into the schedule and you look at 3 very easy non-conference wins, and then you add to that Pitt and South Carolina and Vandy, you're already at 6 wins right off the gate, and you're going bowling. You don't got to beat anybody else. All you got to do is pull an upset against the likes of a Missouri on the road, against whom they have a talent advantage, or an Ole Miss at home, against whom they have a talent advantage. So Tennessee appears to be one of the most underrated sleeper teams on the season. Not such a sleeper team that they're likely to be competing in any kind of SEC title game, but enough that they can be bowling and pull off more than a few upsets during the regular season. Up next on the most underrated, biggest sleepers in college football would have to be Michigan. This is a team that, again, in Harbaugh's regular season tenure is a 9-10 win kind of season, and they're talking about 6 or 7 wins up in Ann Arbor. This is a team that has a very manageable schedule, draws teams like Washington at home, gets their rival Ohio State at home. Michigan State, a local rival, is down. Northwestern is down. So some of their key competitors are weaker than normal. And so this lines up well for a Michigan team whose offense actually from an analytic metric perspective hasn't been as bad as people think, and whose defense is usually good. And there's more than enough talent for Jim Harbaugh to do what he has typically done, which is to hit that 9-10 win margin, whether he was in Palo Alto or Ann Arbor. And we see no reason why he won't achieve that same outcome again this season. This is a team that should be ranked preseason, not completely unranked preseason. Third up, the Stanford Cardinal. This is a team that Vegas is talking about winning 3 or 4 games, that people are seeing as a foregone conclusion as a loss on anybody's Pac-12 schedule. Yet they have the coach that's the most underrated coach from a spread perspective of any coach in the Pac-12. And he returns as much talent as almost any program in the Pac-12, not named USC. In that dynamic, that lines up well for Stanford to pull more than a few upsets and is more likely to be ranked than unranked by season end, and definitely more likely to be bowling than to be a 3-win, 4-win team, as some are forecasting in the press and in Vegas. But that's not all. First, Tennessee. Second, Stanford. Third, Michigan. The fourth most underappreciated team and sleeper team in college football would be Nebraska. This is a team that everybody's forecasting it's the last season for Scott Frost. The athletic director is leaking tapes that are triggering NCAA inquiries, and there's a lot of folks, except for those folks that still remember Scott Frost's hero days from the Husker peak era in the 1990s, who foresee Scott Frost finishing his career at college coaching career at Nebraska this season and not lasting it with a new athletic director. But this is still a Nebraska team that is one of the more talented teams in the Big Ten. It's not nearly anywhere near Ohio State territory, and it's still substantially behind Penn State. But it's in the same talent territory as Michigan and Wisconsin, and more talented than many other teams on their schedule. And with a lot of experience on the offensive side of the ball running that scheme, and with an improved defense that they should have this season, the Huskers very much are in place for a bounce-back season with opportunities to pull shocking upsets against their historic rival Oklahoma in Norman. Big long shot, but not nearly the 20-point underdog kind of long shot that some people are foreshadowing. And they may have a good chance to upset Michigan at home in Lincoln, which would be a big win for Nebraska fans. So we see more likely that Scott Frost goes bowling and has a decent season that saves his career and saves him for at least another year, and more so than a team that is a losing record kind of season and a total debacle, at least, again, looking at things from a talent and schedule perspective. The fifth most underrated team in college football is probably a close call, but it's between Florida State and Mississippi State. Florida State, because even though the talent level is substantially down, it is a Florida State team that people are talking about having a losing season. And that's despite Mackenzie Milton likely coming into play at quarterback, some key transfers on the offensive and defensive side of the ball in the second year of a coach who's been previously successful in the college football ranks, and a schedule that's mostly accommodating. Only a few teams on the schedule that are either as talented on the road or more talented that they face at home. And when you factor in those things, that Florida State should be an 8-9 win team, not a losing record kind of team from a simple talent and schedule analysis. You can make comparable arguments about Mike Leach, and that Mike Leach in his second season has pretty much been successful everywhere he's been in his second season, and he's a lot more likely to be successful than a failure. He still returns substantial talent on the defensive side of the ball. He has an excellent defensive coordinator from San Diego State, and usually his offense gets grooving in its second season, even against the difficult competition he faces in the SEC. So Mississippi State might also be a team that a lot of people are forecasting will not even go bowling, that is more likely to go bowling than maybe its Ole Miss rivals. Thanks, everybody. And remember, if you like this content here at Sports Wars, like, share, and subscribe. And if you want more free football picks and predictions all year long, go to sportspicks.locals.com.